and welcome to this week's weekly live stream. So the topic for today is really come from my private student group's masterclass last week. And it came up there about validating communication consultation. So we had a conversation around that on our masterclass last week, and I thought it would be useful to bring some excerpts of that into here, because this is a practice group, and I know that you're all showing up and you're putting the work in, you put the time and the effort in. And one of the things, hi there Angie, and one of the things that came up for one of the students on my program last week was that she was doing lots and lots of practice, and she was getting frustrated about not really feeling that she was getting enough validation of her work. So I'll just be really clear, because there's no beating around the bush on this one, okay? There's no beating around the bush. In order to become an effective and competent and confident animal communicator, you have to put the practice in. End of. Now, I know I've spoken about this before, so I'm not going to beat that particular bush, but let's just say if you were a mechanic, you need to put the hours in under the hood of the car. You need to be in and tinkering with the engine to become skilled and competent to be able to fix the car. And it's no different with your animal communication work. So first and foremost, you have to put the practice in. There's no getting away from that. But the point of this live stream is what came up, as I say, on the student masterclass last week, is that if you're practicing, you could be practicing every day. So you could be doing a communication consultation every single day. You could be doing a horse one day, a dog the next day, a wild deer the day after. It doesn't matter if you are practicing every single day. If you are not getting constructive feedback or any feedback from the guardian or the person that knows that animal that you're working with the best, then your practice is, I'm not saying it's a waste of time. I'm not saying it's a waste of time, but your practice doesn't support you in building your confidence in your ability to connect and communicate with animals. So if you're practicing every day, but you're not getting feedback or constructive feedback, then it's not helping you grow. It's not helping you see where your strengths as a communicator lie. And it's also not helping you see areas that require some additional work or some more support. So let's say, for example, you felt shy about your communication work and a little bit underconfident, and you weren't too sure about going and asking people if you could work with their animals. So you think, right, I'll just do it nice and quietly, and I'll work with my mum's dog, and I'll work with this animal that I'm maybe working with. And you know, if you're an animal person, you might be in contact regularly in your professional work with animals. So if you're thinking, right, I'll talk to this horse tomorrow and I'll do this dog today, and you're just quietly practicing at connecting and getting information back, then yes, you can be saying, well, I practice every day. But if there's nobody saying to you, well, Sarah Jane, you got that right and you got that right, but that was way off. Or even, wow, I can't believe that you just got that. Nobody knows that. Nobody's ever seen that apart from me. So not only do you miss out on great validation of your absolute brilliance at this work, but you miss out on opportunities to see where you want to expand and grow as well. So it's really important that the feedback that you get, firstly, is there in the first place. And secondly, that it's constructive. So what I would be recommending to you is that if you're asking somebody, and I encourage you to be brave, put on your big girl brave pants and actually ask somebody if you can work with their animals or their animal. And if you're feeling underconfident, you can say that to them. Just find your own way that's comfortable for you to say, look, I'm just new at this work. And even if you've been doing it a while, I used that for a long time. I'm just kind of new at this and I'm just kind of learning. Would you mind if I had a little practice? So that for me helped me stay in my safety comfort zone because there was no great expectation from the person. If I was to balls up, then they know that I'm just learning. So use that. But once you've done that, be really, really clear. And this is the important piece. Be really clear that in exchange for your time and your energy that you're giving for free, that in return, they need to be really, really detailed and constructive with their feedback for you. And by that, it's, I actually had this does not happen because I have a contract that people have to sign for my students that are doing the professional practitioner level of my program. So there's a contract that people have to sign, which says, right, in return for doing this work, that you'll give thorough constructive feedback. So it doesn't happen often, but it happened last week where the person had, I mean, the actual content of the communication was probably about 5 pages of typed notes. And the person's contribution and feedback to that was simply, yes, there's a lot of really good stuff in that. Thank you so much for working with my cat. I've been really, really worried. And I'm looking at it and thinking that's firstly, it's not constructive. Secondly, it's not even feedback. So that's when I would go back and say, this isn't on. This student has given a lot of time and energy to do this case for you. And it was a tracking case. So tracking work's really, really quite difficult and requires real ardent concentration. So, I go back to the guardian and say, this is not okay. You have to go back and you need to go through every single line and give really clear, precise feedback on everything, even if it's not correct. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. So I'm saying the same to you. Be practicing, but make sure you're practicing where there is a guardian present who can give you feedback on your finding. It's the only way that you are going to learn, and it's the only way that you're going to grow, and it is the only way that you are going to become confident in what you do. And I promise you this because I've seen it so often. If you do not feel confident in your abilities as an animal communicator, you will not take them out into the world. You will not go out with your skill, your God-given gift, and practice it out there if you don't have the confidence that what you're doing is good, effective, helpful, and makes a difference. And the only way that you're going to learn to become confident in your work, because we don't always feel it, we have to learn it and trust the evidence. So the only way that's going to happen is to be continually getting constructive feedback on your communication consultations. So I can't stress enough how important that is for you as you learn and grow, but also to build your confidence in what you do. So that's really what I wanted to share with you today. And if you've got any questions, please fire them in. I'm just seeing there's a few people have joined me, which is fab. So I'll just pause and say hello. So Angie, you were in from the start. Hello again, Angie. Haley's here. Great. Haley's just finished with me on another live. Joanne is here. Hello, Joanne, and welcome. Gozia is here. Carol. Hello, Carol. And Rosalind is here as well. So welcome all of you. And if you do have questions, please fire them in. What I'm finding is it's difficult sometimes to see the questions come in when I'm on the live screen. So I'll switch screens in a little minute just to see if anything's come in. So if you're listening on the replay, then please know that you can still put questions in if you've listened on the replay, and I'll always come back in and answer them. So I'm just going to very quickly flip screens. You should still be able to see me, but you'll see my eyes wandering all over, just in case there's any questions that have come in. My system's been on a real go slow today and then crashed on me. So it's taken a little while. Here we go. So I think, again, just to reiterate what I was saying there about the validation, it's absolutely essential for your learning and for your growth. And even if the validation comes back and the person says that it's wrong or you've not got it right, and if you want to scroll back, well, don't scroll back because that'll take forever. If you go to the video section here in the group, there I've already done a video on what to do when you think you've got it all wrong. So have a look at that video. Because sometimes there's reasons why things can be misconstrued, and I'm not going to go into all of that today because there's already a video covering that. But sometimes when it feels like you've got it all wrong, that there can be specific reasons why that's happened, and sometimes we do just get it wrong, and that's part of learning and growing. But it's important that you are able to see that, so you can look at what was going on for you in your communication when you got that wrong. Maybe you felt disconnected from the animal, or maybe you felt really super connected and you've got no idea why that could possibly have been wrong because it felt so strong for you. So it's really important for you to then go back and say, well, actually, I felt really strong in that. What was going on for me in the communication? What else came up there? And if it feels appropriate, share that with the guardian, because there might be a layer that needs to be uncovered there, or some layers that need to be removed so you can see what needs to be looked at. Or it might be that the guardian, because remember, the guardians, like us, are just human and we forget things, or we see things through a particular lens. So if the guardian's been looking through a particular lens around that question, they might not have been able to actually see where you were coming from, and that just might need a little bit of conversation to help open something up. So there's always something to learn from and grow from, even when you get information wrong. So that's why it's so important to get the feedback. So just to summarize, if you're practicing every day, brilliant. I know that some of you are. So if you're practicing every day, absolutely fantastic. If you're practicing every day, but you're not getting feedback, I would really, really question the validity of that for your own growth and your own, your growth. Sorry, I was thinking of a different word there. But yeah, I'd really question the validity of practicing every day without feedback for your own growth, because you're not going to be able to grow without feedback. You're not going to be able to learn, and without learning, you're not going to be able to grow. So it's absolutely essential. So that's all that I really had to say on that. And as I said at the beginning, that came from one of the students on my program who is practicing nearly every day, but she's not getting the feedback. So no wonder she's feeling frustrated and not feeling confident in her work, because the validation's not there. And it's absolutely essential that it's there. And also for your own boundary setting and your own energetic exchange. If you are giving up your time and your energy to communicate with somebody's animal, then the exchange for that, there might not be money. If you're not a professional practitioner, there really shouldn't be money exchanging hands, but something needs to exchange for that to be a fair balance of energy. And that exchange is the person spending their time and giving their energy, their constructive feedback. So don't ever be shy about asking for that. That's the exchange, and that keeps it energetically fair and balanced. So it looks like there's no questions. So that was hopefully all nice and clear for everyone. But if you do have questions later, just to come in and pop them in the comments, and I'll come back to them later. So until next week, everyone, happy communicating, and I'll see you here same time next week. Bye.